radyo-katipunero, sugod, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulog, lipat na Blue Eagle, galing giting nagigil, blue and white, one big fight.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng pera. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawan ni Ignacio, Katipunero, sugod, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong, lipat na Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil, blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
Happy first Friday of March, everyone. This week may have been full of ACADs and orgs for all of us, but we're here to cap it off with insightful conversation. This is Hanna Mantos, your always bubbly, non-stop chica buddy from 1AV Dip IR. And welcome back to Kwentuhang MVP. Hope you're all settled in because we're having a fun org takeover for this episode. As usual, we are coming into you loud and live from our homes via the Facebook pages of radyo-katipunan 87.9 FM, Ateneo de Manila University, and of course, the Council of Organizations of the Ateneo Manila. You can also stream us via Radio Katipunan's YouTube channel at radyo-katipunan FM. We're also coming in via audio streams at any Shoutcast online radio station around the world, so just search for Radio Katipunan. We are transmitting too via the 87.9 FM frequency, so tune in if you are within the 2-kilometer radius of the Ateneo de Manila campus. So guys, if malapit lang kayo sa campus natin, don't forget to listen to our show for today. You're so lucky if you're so near the campus because ako, personally, I really want to be there right now and to experience classes on site. But for now, with the pandemic, we have to stay home and continue with our lives in the online setting. So, quick recap muna. Last week, we had a great Kwentuhan session with Tech Orgs, ComSat, and MISA about some upcoming projects and events they had in line with advocating for social change through information management. And this week, wow, we will be featuring the one and only Ateneo Association of Communication Majors, or Ateneo ACOMM. And we will be talking about how the org has been doing, some events they've had, the members' org journey, and the wonderful projects they have in store this semester. So if you guys didn't know, the Ateneo Association of Communication Majors is the premier media organization and is the home org of the communication majors of the Ateneo. So these people know how to express, how to communicate, and how to connect with all of us. And we're so blessed to be talking to some representatives to share about what they have. So with their numbers and year-round initiatives, ACOM is an org that's definitely big, bold, and busy. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome Dionco, the Communicate 2021 Project Coordinator, Ericka Aala, the Communicate 2021 Project Manager, and Gabby Alcantara, the Vice President for Events from Ateneo ACOMM. Hi guys!
Hi, Hanna.
Hello,
Hanna. To see you.
Hello and welcome to Kwentuhang MVP. Thank you so much for being here with us. So before we start, let's have a bit of kamustahan muna. So I want to ask how you guys been doing and how are ACADS and everything else?
Well, to be honest, it's been sort of a long week. ACADS-wise, there's things are starting to pile up. It's been a month since school started, and of course, our other commitments and our other projects have recently launched. So it's been a very hectic few days. But other than that, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you again, Hanna, for having us.
Yes, as like Ericka said, it's been a really long week for the three of us. Actually, I think for the whole Ateneo student body, we're juggling about org work and as well as our school works as well. But we're still breathing, juggling our priorities. But I think I'm still doing great.
For me, I think I've been doing great as well. I've been pushing through it the year. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy to be with my PM and PC for this wonderful project.
Yes, okay. And of course, we're very happy to have you in the show as well. So it's good to know that you guys are, making the most of what we have at the moment, even if, it's not ideal for us to be doing this in the safety of our homes without this pandemic. We would be on campus and doing this. With that, I want to ask how you guys feel about us reaching lockdown in a few days. Grabe, it's been so long. What do you guys think of that?
Well, to be honest, it's been the longest I've been home the past, I think, 7 or 8 years, because I've been studying in Manila. So right now I'm in the province. So it's been a big adjustment for me to be home again and with my family and working out new routines. And I guess it's about time that things move forward. Because like you said, it's been a year and we're only beginning to see movements and changes in our government. And recently, I don't know if you've heard the news, the vaccines from AstraZeneca have arrived in the Philippines. So that's like a big sigh of relief, I feel like. But of course, that doesn't mean that we should settle for that. What about you, Kad?
To be honest with you guys, it still feels unreal that we're still on a lockdown, because I think we can all agree that during the first few weeks of the quarantine, I'm still convinced that we're going to go back to our school. Everything will go back to the way it was, but I guess I was wrong. So right now, we're experiencing virtual school and at the same time juggling everything inside of like our houses, and as well as like the most that we can get close to the people that we're talking to is in front of the screen. So I still find myself adjusting to everything virtually, work, school works, and even like internships and all that. How about you, Gabby? How do you feel about this?
Honestly, it still feels the same. Parang tuloy-tuloy lang yung timeline. If you saw the tweets, diba may meme na parang Drew Barrymore's holding the pineapple from 51st Date? Tapos same lang from March 1, 2020 to March 1, 2021. So parang nothing has changed. We're still doing the same thing. And you know the feeling where it feels like it's been a year, pero at the same time, parang hindi naman 1 year na. It's somewhere between there. It's confusing times, you know?
Since you mentioned nga, the certain meme, have you seen that tweet ba na parang ilang days na lang, ilang weeks na lang, gagawa na naman tayo ulit ng dalgo na coffee. It's like we're going back in circles. Diba? It's very frustrating, but at the same time, unreal. That, something common in the three of your answers is that you guys are very busy. You guys are still pushing through. Aside from ACADS, you kept mentioning na other things are keeping you busy, like, org life. So with that, what has ACOM been to you in the past several months?
I've only recently been part of ACOM. So it's been weird to experience ACOM online, but at the same time, I remember telling Kylan on an IC once that I want ACOM to be the place where I grow, and I think it's really doing that for me. I've learned so many things in just in the span of a few months from Gabby, from my AVPs. Like it's been a great place to evolve and become a better person.
Well, for me, ACOM for the past several months, more than just an organization, I have to be honest, that I'm mostly active on. It has been a space where it gave me an opportunity to really grow, like Ericka, especially with the project that we currently have right now and working with amazing people that resonates with your values as well as the orgs as well. And, someone that you can also talk to, aside from org work, you will meet a lot of those in ACOM, which I'm really thankful. And it became a space where it really pushed me to get out of my comfort zone despite the current situation that we're still facing. I still remember I had an IC with Gabby regarding that because I wasn't really like an org person last year, and I keep telling him that I really want ACOM to be the place where I really grow. So yes, that's ACOM for me for the past several months.
For me, I think it's been a home ever since I was first year naman, since I've been in this org since I was a freshman. So ever since then, it's always been a home. And especially now, given the trying times that we're in, it serves as a place where I can not think about the pandemic that's going on or everything that's been happening, everything bad that's been happening now. It serves as a place, like a distraction in a way that can keep me busy, and a home nga, where I can just talk to my friends and do the things that I love. So yeah.
That's great to hear. I love hearing org stories, and I love hearing that ACOM is not just a responsibility for you guys, but kind of like a safe space with everything going on. So before we talk more about the upcoming projects of your org, let's talk a bit more about each of your individual journeys in ACOM. So kindly just tell us a bit about how long you've been a member, what made you join, and what made you stay. Yeah, okay. Let's go with Ericka.
Oh, okay. So since my course, we have with life sciences, we have the communication track and the management track. I'm in the communication track, and so when I saw that ACOM was, accepting applicants for Rec Week, I was like, "Oh, I'm communication. Let's join a communication org." And so, ayun, the thing that really stuck to me was the General Assembly. As in, I tell my friends to this day that General Assembly was the best General Assembly I've attended, like both in real life and like virtually. As in, it was so well thought out, so streamlined. Like, I got so excited to see that something like this was possible in the online setting, because that requires a lot of forethought, lots of like coordination. So I was so excited to be part of something like this. So I proceeded with application, and fortunately, I was able to also have an IC with Thailand, which further encouraged me to actually join a project. So now that I'm part of my very first ACOM project, it's so exciting. Like, I'm so happy to be working with such talented people, because in our like little project board, like Kad and I are sort of the newbies, because we're recent additions to ACOM, so it's been fun to see how things work and how people are so good, honestly, in ACOM. I love our project board. They're so amazing.
Chad?
What about you, Kat?
Okay, so I have been a member since October. I think the same as Ericka. So probably we're about 6 months old ACOM members. But what made me join ACOM was actually my friend is one of the events associate. Her name is Rovi. I remember she would always talk about how fun and fulfilling their projects are as an org. And she keeps reminding me, Kat, you need to join or else you'll really miss out. And it took her a while to convince me, but I didn't think twice about joining. So I did. And aside from that, before, I really wanted to take communications as my undergraduate program in Ateneo. But since I pursued another course, I still want to be a part of something that is in kind with that. And what made me stay and even pursue this position? Because last year, as what I mentioned earlier, I wasn't really an org person. I think the freshmen last year can relate that you will have this BS org phase, that you will join a lot of numerous organizations, take part in their projects. But I just had one organization, and that's my home org. And I focused more on my academics. Call me silly, but of course, I still didn't want to make mistakes. But since the new school year began, and I joined ACOM as one of my organizations, I began to stretch out a bit. I wanted to try something different. So when we were informed that we have teams on the events team, my head team was Gabby. So when I was on an IC with him, as what I mentioned earlier, I told him that I want to take on a project or an event that will really challenge me. I know I have the skills and the knowledge, but I need to hone and apply it pa. So that's why when they released the primer regarding the events, I instantly applied. I remember I dropped all of my requirements and just typed it in. I said, I need to finish this na. Baka kasi maagawan ako ng spot and all that. But thankfully, they have given me this opportunity. And thankfully, I have this position. So I think it's not the matter of staying like that question, but what really made us do more for this organization, if you know what I mean. So yes, aside from that, the projects and the opportunities is the amazing people that you'll meet, like Gabby, Ericka, ACOM as a whole. So yeah.
love
For
ACOM.
me, what I've been in ACOM since freshman year, like I said earlier. And the reason why I joined was com kasi was one of my choices for Ateneo. I wanted to be com, but I didn't get in, unfortunately. So, ayun. So I wanted to join com para that's the closest I'll get. And also a lot of my blockmates wanted to join ACOM as well and try to, feel it out. So I joined them, and then I was in the events unit, and then I became the programs head for year-end project at the time. So that was ACOM 16. And I was under Julia at the time, Julia Quezon. Shout out, happy birthday, Julia Quezon. It's her birthday today. So yeah, I became programs head for the year-end project. And from there, I became really, really into event planning, and I was very passionate about ACOM, and I liked the things that I was doing there. So then I applied as associate for ACOM 17 the coming year. And then from there, I became even more interested in ACOM and event planning. And then I applied to be events VP, which is this year. So that's where I am now. So I guess the reason why I stayed was I just got more and more interested and passionate about event planning and about the org and the community in general, the sense of family that ACOM has. So that's really what pushed me to stay and just keep going in ACOM. So yeah.
It's interesting, how you guys have different timelines and different parang things that pushed you to join, but it's one environment, one community that is keeping you there. And I think it's inspiring. I want to touch a bit on what Kad mentioned kanina na, freshies have this BS org phase. And to be honest, I'm in that phase right now. But of course, when you apply for orgs, you have these expectations what expectations particularly did you have for the org and the org work upon joining ACOM ba?
Well, I think from the start, I knew that the standards were high. As in, like I mentioned, I was so kilig over the General Assembly that I knew that staying in ACOM would require a lot of dedication on our end, and a lot of, like, you have to set a standard for yourself in order to really grow and become a good person, on a reliable person on ACOM, in ACOM. And so I expected the org workload to be heavy, but what actually helped us so much, like me and Kad, was actually our events VP and AVP. They were so like, they really welcomed us and helped introduce us into everything, like slowly but surely. Like a few months before Communicate even started, they were already briefing us as to what our roles are, and they were always so open. Like, if we had any like questions, like even the most basic questions regarding like how the org works, and like who am I supposed to talk to about this, like they were so helpful with that. So that lightened our workload significantly, because they were always so willing and ready to help us. So shout out to Romy and Gabby. I love you so much.
So for me, my expectation for ACOM regarding the as like an org and org work particular is actually same with Ericka. They already have this high standard, like in my perspective as a newbie. And of course, as an org, that I saw the projects that are really successful, and at the same time, which really takes dedication. It will really push you to do better once you're in the org, even though you're gonna tell yourself, oh, I'm just gonna join this unit because I can, or I just want to be a part of something. They will really encourage you to take part on it and do collaborative work. So my expectation for ACOM was something the same with Ericka and with the other new members too. But as much as possible, like the collaborative work, engaging to the new environment that I'm in. Because I think when you join ACOM, there's this whole new world where you meet these amazing people. It's just what Gabby mentioned earlier. You will feel like you're the part of a family. And instead of just being there, they will encourage you to really stretch out. That's why ACOM is just so heartwarming. When I hear like the org, the people part of it, it's really heartwarming. So surprisingly, they gave me so much more than that, like the expectations that I was expecting. But of course, when it comes to org work, I'm going to be honest, it's quite stressful, but it's fulfilling in a way that, since for example, Ericka and I have been really working hard on our project right now, and we have Gabby on the side, Kylene and Rovi on it. It's fulfilling in a sense that you feel that you're not alone on this project, and you know that it has a purpose. And lastly, I will not be tired of mentioning this, but you will be working with amazing people. That's why the stress load that you're experiencing will gradually like fade away.
Gabby?
Oh, what did I expect joining the org? Grabe, first year pa yun. Ang tagal na. Honestly, I just went into it thinking I'd be doing normal org work, and then get into it because I like working naman talaga. I genuinely didn't think I would be close to anybody, because I was like, I wanted to keep my circle of friends small. Sorry, I wanted to keep my circle of friends small lang at the time. So I didn't really have much friends in ACOM at the time. Like, sobrang konti lang nila. But then the more I got into ACOM, the more projects I worked on, the closer I got to the people. So yeah, to answer the question, basically, I went into ACOM expecting that I wouldn't really make a lot of friends and I would just be there for work and work only. But turns out that's not the case. I made more friends than I thought I would.
Wow. Okay, I can feel the passion talaga when you guys are talking about ACOM, and that makes me even more interested about what the org is about, and it makes me look forward to what you guys have in store for us. So now that we've learned about your ACOM stories and your journey towards being in your positions right now, let's dive into the org itself. So, first question, very basic lang. What exactly is ACOM and what do you do?
Okay, so ACOM, or Ateneo Association of Communication Majors, we essentially envision to be the premier media and communication organization of the Ateneo by innovating and integrating multidisciplinary approaches to our efforts. And to achieve this, ACOM aims to develop competent, socially responsible, and professional media practitioners ready to respond to the changing landscape of media and our nation. While our mission is that through the multidisciplinary tracks of production, journalism, advertising, public relations, film, and media studies, ACOM aims to offer output-based, socially relevant, and innovative efforts that expose the Ateneo community to the communication landscape. It's ACOM's mission to serve as a means to promote proper information dissemination and promulgate media literacy for all. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
very
Wow.
precise.
Wow, I love that. Parang, it's a very thought of. You guys as communication majors were able to word that very nicely, and I'm sure naman you guys are able to put all those words into action. Yeah. So true to being renowned as a big busy org, ACOM has, I heard, its own production unit called Mirlab and a student-run radio, which I admit I listen to, which is called Magis Radio. Could you tell us a bit more about them as well as how they tie into your org's mission that you mentioned a while ago?
Okay, so Magis and Mirlab are what we call in ACOM Eugenio Lopez Jr. Center for Multimedia Communication, or ELJ CMC unit. So essentially, Mirlab is in charge of the video production of ELJ CMC, specifically with the documentary format, focusing on creating socially relevant digital content and documentaries, while Magis provides a platform for discussion about topics and issues that are relevant to the different social groups of the Ateneo community. And they tie into ACOM's mission of developing social responsible media practitioners by giving members all these different avenues to express themselves, and as a result, they become more well versed in different aspects and tools of media.
Yeah, okay. I think what they do then is it's able to communicate to people who are outside the org. Nga ako, I'm not in ACOM, but I personally am acquainted with Magis Radio. I know some people from there and I've listened to episodes, and I can tell na the diversity of the topics really does allow for you guys to have that platform to reach out. So with that, I want to ask, what does media with discipline mean to you and the org?
Hmm. So basically, media discipline to the org means discipline in proper media and media literacy. To me, it means the same thing naman, which is using media and our platforms the right way for the right reasons, especially at these times where social media is so easy to access and anybody can tweet, say, post anything that they want, and we don't know if it would be true or not. So I think that's basically what media with discipline is, just using your platform the right way and for the right reasons.
Wow, that's a very no, that's a very wholesome goal for you guys. And like you mentioned, you have these goals, and as the home organ of communication majors, syempre, there are a lot of you guys in the organization nga, and there are some who are just plainly interested in communication who also join in your initiatives. So with all those people, how's the working dynamic of the members in the org?
Okay. I guess, well, in terms of working dynamics for the members, they are given a lot of opportunities to participate in our event. So, for example, if they can be part of the project board, similar to what Kat and Ericka are doing now. They're the project board heads, the PM and the PC. Or they could be part of the task force, which are essentially just those working under the project board, helping the project board members in achieving their goal. And when it comes naman to the dynamic of officers, we're actually a lot. We're more than 40 actually. So we're so many. So it's difficult for us to all talk to each other or actually cross paths. Because sobrang dami namin, minsan mahirap for that to happen. But I think our working dynamic is very efficient and all of us know what's going on within our units naman. So I think I can say the same for the project board. They are efficient in their work. They know what they're doing. They know who to update and when to update. So I think that's pretty good. I say that's a great working dynamic in the org.
Oh, like with the way you're telling us about those things, about the details of the org, no, I'm sure it proves how you guys are really genuine with what you're doing, and that really reflects in the projects that you have. Touching a bit more on what you mentioned, Karina, Gabby, na you are 40 nga officers, so it's hard for you guys to cross paths. But syempre, when we're on campus, it's much easier for you guys to see each other in person. Siguro nagkakakilala pa and all that. But with the pandemic nga in the past year, how has ACOM been navigating the processes in your organization, and what challenges have you faced and overcome?
Okay. Well, it's been very, very difficult. The same way, I'm pretty sure it's been very difficult as well for the rest of the orgs. And we've been adjusting all our on-site events to online. So, that's just what makes it so difficult. And adjusting our events in such a short time was very, very taxing. It was such a long process. The amount of times we had to adjust our calendar just to adjust to this very drastic change and adjust our event descriptions. It was very, very difficult. I think one of the major difficulties we faced this year was, for one, there was the OBS, the online broadcasting server software. We had to learn that for our GA. We needed to stream it live to Facebook, and I had to learn it as the events VP. I had to learn the processes of how to do all that technical stuff. And within the events unit, you can ask them, everybody there, or even all of the officers, I'm like one of the least techie people. And the fact that I was able to achieve that and actually push through, I think that was very, very good. And then I think another thing is for ComUse, this is one of our biggest projects this year. And I think how we adjusted it from the on-site, which usually we would go to orphanage or public schools, and we would go there to teach the kids. But this year, we really couldn't do that. So I think the fact that we were able to adjust ComUse to this, and I feel like even in a grander scale, it's really such a big achievement for all of us involved.
That's good to hear that you guys, it's not easy for anybody, but you guys are really kicking up despite the online setting that we have right now. And it's great that you mentioned ComYouth, because it's time for us to talk about your major project that's upcoming. So guys, please tell us more about your first ACOM event this year, Communicate 2021.
Okay, so Communicate, it's a donation drive for both in-kind and monetary donations for our partner community in Kaingan 1, Quezon City. And ComYouth aims to support the online and distance learning of the students by providing the items required for answering their physical modules, such as school supplies and art supplies, and of course, collecting both tablets and gadgets to help them with for their online classes.
Wow, okay, that's great. Kat, do you have anything to add pa about this?
Aside from that, Communicate before is composed of like a series of talks and workshops that cater to young children. Volunteers from ACOM, they really enjoyed and were given like the opportunity to meet children of the partner organization in the community. However, the past year, the pandemic and all of that has brought us about the different challenges, and we saw the need to make the necessary adjustments, just like Ericka said.
Yeah, okay. So it's such a good, it's for a good cause, and that's something that we really do uphold. And as you said, you have this mission in ACOM to be able to reach out to people, diba? So, how do projects like communicate, align, or tie in with ACOM's values as the Media Show Society? Can you give us like specific aspects of communicate that you think, you know, really embody what you guys are trying to do in ACOM?
I mean, well, we've seen ACOM grow and become more involved as an organization in recent years. And I think Communicate is one of the ways in which that is realized. So there was a great understanding among the EV, the TV, and the CB that what we're doing in Communicate, providing the materials they need for distance learning, is not necessarily the solution, but it's one of the ways in which we can help for the meantime, and it's a step towards the right direction. So with ACOM's goal of media with discipline, coupled with the platform that we have, both in the ACOM, among the ACOM members, and of course to the greater LS community, it was an opportunity for us to provide, not just in terms of items, but an avenue for our partner community to share their story. And one of the ways in which we do this is actually what we call the Commute Series. And the Commute Series is actually a series of short videos that feature members from our partner community in Kaingin.
Okay, wow. That's you know, it's really heartwarming to think of how you guys are thinking of ways to be able to, you know, continue that legacy or that project that you guys have been doing for years. So I take it Communicate is not a one-time thing, diba? It's an annual project for ACOM. But last year nga, around this time, due to the pandemic, you unfortunately had to cancel it. So how did you guys take that cancellation naman?
I think because this year, regarding like the cancellation last year that happened during the Communicate 2020, they have to postpone it due to the pandemic. But for this year, we've handled it. So we've handled it in a different way. So we've decided to extend our support to our partner community students in Kaingin, Barangay Pansol in Quezon City, and it aims to support the students in kindergarten to college by an educational care package that will suit their needs. For the kindergarten and elementary students, our goal is to supply them with educational care package that contains school and art supplies to help them accomplish their physical modules. Because as we were coordinating with their partner community representative, she told us that the students, especially the younger ones, they use physical modules. So we've decided on that. For the high school and college students, we're also opened a gadget donation drive to help them participate in their online classes. Additionally, we also have the Commute Series, as what Ericka mentioned, which aims to shed light on the challenges and hardships faced by the students of the partner community in the current distance learning.
Okay. No, thank you very much for sharing about those details about the project. And seeing as you, Kad and Ericka, are very, very passionate now, you guys are super, you guys know a lot about this thing that you're working on. I want to ask just a little follow-up now. How are your positions specifically contributing? Can you guys tell us exactly what you do as project heads and managers?
Okay, so as the project manager, my role is to oversee the different units and make sure that each unit is aware of what the other unit is doing and sort of streamline the communication between everybody involved. Since, I mean, we're not that big of a group. We're less than 10 people, but given the online setting, we've had to adjust, like the online meetings, setting online meetings, adjusting to everyone's schedules and everyone's commitments. So of course, the person that helps manage all of that, like alongside me, is of course Miss Kad. Kad, as project coordinator, she helps ensure that our calendar, that everyone is informed of our different meetings. And despite the difference in our titles, we actually work jointly. Like, we really work hand in hand. Like, the titles are just there, but Kad has become more than just my project coordinator. like we really developed a friendship over Communicate because we honestly didn't know each other before this project happened. So it's so amazing that we've actually developed even more than a friendship nga through this project.
Yes. Aside from that, of course, as like the project coordinator, I would always tell people, "Oh, I'm the right hand of Ericka," because mostly my job is, of course, aside from overseeing the project itself and checking on the units or departments and the people working on that, is I do the technical and operational stuff. Like, for example, scheduling the meetings, making sure that everyone can attend and all of that, taking minute meetings. But aside from that, I think what makes our roles quite similar. Actually, the titles is just there, as what Ericka mentioned, is we work jointly. And what's amazing about that is you won't really feel who has like the higher position, who has like a lower position or all of that, but you will feel like you just have a friend beside you that's doing this project with you. And I think with Ericka, alongside with Gabby and the other events associate, they can really relate to that. I think like as like an ACOM member too, you won't really feel the superiority because they will make you feel that you're important and at the same time that you can contribute more. And with Ericka and I's role, despite it having like a name, we're just there to support the people and the talented individuals that's helping us pursue this project into a successful one.
I love that so much. Like honestly, it's good that we're hitting two birds with one stone. No, you guys are able to help other people, and at the same time, you're able to build a relationship, and that's something that's priceless, nga, and that's something that only working in causes like this, something that you can take from things, nga. So I just wanna ask, beyond being a donation drive, like you mentioned, you guys have the Com Youth series to amplify the voices of your partner community. Can you tell us more about this as well as why you think it's important to be listening to voices from the community?
So the Commute series is one of the new initiatives of Communicate this year. Actually, one of my favorites on this project. And because I remember we planned this, Ericka, last year during our December meeting with just the two of us. We really planned to do this. But its sole purpose is to shed light and widen the reach by tackling the issues of our partner community. And aside from that, being a donation drive, we find the importance of being one with them and engaging with their voices. A power that a voice holds can initiate change. I think ACOM as a whole knows that. And we want them to use it as an instrument to reach out to a greater audience, to make us understand and make them understand that the environment of the situation they're currently facing. We want to use this series as a platform to amplify their voices because they already have a voice. And I think we should serve as an avenue in developing that and amplifying it to build a level of understanding and reaching out to the youth to make them listen. Not only to make them donate, participate in a project, or share our social media posts, but to form this deep personal connection to make them realize that these are the challenges that this community face and several communities all over our country. But of course, we have to make like a specific scope. So we picked that partner community, Barangay Kaingin, in Pansol. So what personal action can they also initiate to change that their voice did? What their voice hold as well.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Kad, Ericka, and Gabby, for sharing your org journey and upcoming projects with us. Personally listening to you guys communicate is definitely something we should all look forward to. And ACOM is an org that definitely deserves, the interest of people. And honestly, guys, between us lang, parang gusto ko din sumali because you guys talk about it with so much passion. Parang you'll see me in Rec Week next year na. So thank you once again. Before we end, let's have a quick Q&A lang. So parang fast talk, Tita Boy level. So I'll just say one word. I'll say something and you guys have to tell me the first word comes to mind. So to make it faster, let's go from Gabby, tapos Kad, and then Ericka. G?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
G, let's go.
Sige. First, favorite room in MVP?
Of course, 309. ACOM 309.
The MVP lobby, not the room, but the lobby.
309. I hope to be there one day.
Wow. Okay, it's good to hear about your favorite places in MVP because I've never been. So, yes. Next. Okay, building or place you miss the most on campus.
Oh my gosh. I guess e-buys. E-buys. The cheapest place to get food. That's very good.
If it's for me, Mateo's second floor. I miss the aircon and hanging out with your friends.
Same with Kad. I also miss Mateo's second floor. Oh, the aircon.
The air. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Parang gusto ko rin magpa-aircon on campus. Sige, third, best com track.
Well, technically, kaming tatlo, hindi naman kami com. So we'll just guess this out. But I feel like best would be, I think I'm an Aden PR kind of guy. You know, I just feel it in my blood.
For me, since I really wanted communications before, like as an undergraduate program, I would probably say media studies. I really have like a strong incline to that.
I'll just say production. Go production.
Wait, now that Gabby pointed it out, no, it's so cool. The three of you aren't from com, but you guys are like heading these projects. Wow, the power that ACOM holds not was able to bring all of you together. So, last prompt, describe ACOM in one word.
A family. Paulit-ulit ko na itong sinasabi. Kanina ko pa. So, yeah.
Diverse. See, we're not com students, but we're actually here for ACOM, so diverse.
For me, ACOM is excellent.
So parang we put that together. You know, ACOM is a diverse family that that is excellent in fulfilling its mission. Wow, thank you so much
Wow.
for
Beautiful,
participating.
beautiful.
And before we go, if you have any other events or reminders, please feel free to promote them and invite our listeners right now.
So hello guys,
Well-
my name is Kad and I'm with Ericka and Gabby. So take part in this year's Communicate 2021 by of course sharing your social media posts about the project and our beloved series, the Commute series, and by donating. We're accepting in-kind and monetary donations, and these links can be found on Ateneo ACOMM's Facebook page. So be one of us in taking this initiative by taking part in these.
All right. Ericka, Gabby, you have something to add?
Please support Communicate.
Yeah, please support Communicate. And watch out for our next event, which is Media Month. It will be coming to you next month. So watch out for that. Make sure to follow ACOM, Ateneo ACOMM, and our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yes, definitely a big and busy organization. Thank you so much, Gabby, Kad, and Ericka from ACOM for joining us today. This has been the end of our episode. I'm Hanna, once again, Hanna Mantos, your bubbly chica buddy from 1ABUDIR, and this has been Kwentuhang MVP. Good afternoon, everyone.